Hey, what's up, guys? It's WiseGuyVito here, and today I have another video for you guys on Helldivers, and this will be about the arc thrower. What my thoughts are on the overall gun. I do think that it's probably one of the better support weapons in the entire game, and I'll kind of explain that. But I also think that it's one of the most boring in the game, and I kind of give you my thoughts on what it's like against every faction, but also things that kind of change it to make it more interesting, because right now it seems to be just a hold the trigger for a second, shoot, hold the second for a second, shoot, and you just do that on repeat, and it's kind of boring, and I'm going to kind of explain why I think that needs to be changed, and it's something that's a little bit more fun and interesting, but also until a change has been met, or any type of change to make it more fun and interesting, I'm going to kind of explain what loadout you should be running with this arc thrower for the time being. So as always, like, share, and subscribe. It greatly helps me out. Appreciate all the love and support as of recent. And let's get straight into the video. So the arc thrower, for the most part, it's a support weapon. There are a ton of different ship modules that you can take or purchase with samples and recs to give it more arcs to targets and such. Whenever it first came out, it had a very interesting bug to it, to where you could do a half charge and shoot it almost kind of like a rapid fire, or more of rapid fire. So basically it would cut off some time from the full second charge to more of like a half second or 3/4 of a second charge. I enjoyed this from the original arc thrower because it was more fun. It was more skillful, in my opinion. You kind of had to get down the timing of it, and now they had nerfed it. They took away some of the stun effects to it. Wasn't really that great to use, and so they brought it back kind of to where it was to its original state, except now you have to wait for the full charge of the arc thrower in order to use it. In my opinion, I think this, don't get me wrong, like, the arc thrower is still very, very good. It's definitely, in my opinion, against all the factions, before we discuss like all the other, the use cases for all factions, definitely an S tier pick, because it just handles infantry and also the more heavily armored targets very well. Now, of course, there's going to be some that, some targets that you just can't stun. You can still do like a good amount of damage to, but you just can't stun. So like Bile Titans, Factory Striders, like those type of bigger enemies, tanks, like stuff like that. You can't stun. You can still do damage, but you just can't stun, right? But, things like Hulks, Chargers, Walkers, that kind of stuff, you can stun, and it feels actually very rewarding in that regard. I think my only problem with the arc thrower is that I wish that there was a sweet spot in the charge that gave you something, right? So instead of it just being hold the trigger down for 1 second, you get the full benefit of the charge and then releasing it, I wish that there was some sort of like gauge to the gun. Kind of like how the railgun is, where there's like a sweet spot, but if you overcharge it, it explodes in your hands, right? Obviously, you don't have to do that with the arc thrower. Like it doesn't have to explode in your hands and kill you, type of thing, right? Unless, you guys think that that's a good idea. But I think there should be definitely an undercharge where it doesn't do anything. There should be a perfect charge where it arcs all over the place. It's crazy. It feels powerful in your hands. Maybe even whenever it kills something, like that target explodes in electricity or thunder or arc, basically, and that explosion then goes everywhere, right? And it feels, like I said, like there should be like a sweet spot within the charge, and then there should be like an overcharge to where it's kind of like what you would think of how it is now, where you hold the trigger down, like you have it after 1 second, and then after that, whenever you let go of the trigger, you might, it'll still arc the thing, sure, but it just won't be as powerful. Like I said, it's not a bad weapon. The only thing I'm complaining about the weapon is that I wish that it was way more fun to use. But for the time being, it's actually not that bad. It really isn't. And my my loadout for this gun is this, right? So I would take the railgun, the orbital railgun. This would be mainly for like Bile Titans, Factory Striders, tanks, more of like your beefier, heavily armored targets that you just can't kill as fast or stun particularly stunned with the arc thrower. The 500 kg again handles heavily armored targets, great at closing bug holes, blowing up factories. You know, it's okay against ships, but in my opinion, you should just bring like a line armor penetrating weapon for ships. On the Illuminate side of things, and of course the arc thrower, stapled gun in this, but also I like the idea of having a shock jump pack guy, a shock trooper jump pack guy. I think the jump pack in this scenario works very, very well with the arc thrower, because you'll notice that with the arc thrower, at times, if something comes really close up to you, you have a much harder time hitting that enemy. So you can use a jump pack to kind of like give yourself distance between the enemy who's trying to run up on you and kill you, and yourself, so that you can actually get like those consistent arcs, or like those consistent arc hits and such. So, again, like I said, I feel like the arc thrower is in a very good spot. Like, don't get me wrong. I just think that it is a tad bit on the boring side, because I wish there was something more mechanically driven, or like some sort of gauge or some sort of perfect timing system or something like that with the arc thrower. And I think that would actually be really, really cool. And I think that, and I really do think the Arrowhead should add something to that. Will they do that? I'm not for sure. I don't have much faith in the QA of Helldivers at this moment in time, because Arrowhead hasn't proven themselves that they have a very good QA, but that's neither here nor there. As always, I'm going to put some clips in the background, and also clips after I'm done talking. You guys can see for yourself how good the arc thrower is, in my opinion. I do think that it's an S tier weapon. I just find it just a little bit on the boring side. But as always, comment down below what you guys think about the arc thrower. Let me know what you think about, how it works. Do you guys think that it's really fun to use right now, or would you like to see some changes to it? As always, like, share, and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Go, Pat!